It was a privilege in March 2024 to have access to the inside of Stonehenge after the visitors had left for the day and the sun was starting to set. To really appreciate this incredible structure, you must stand inside the 4,000-year-old circle of stones. Walking around the outside simply doesn't do it justice. Stonehenge has an outer ring of 13-foot-high sarsen stones, each weighing about 25 tons, and originally forming an unbroken circle with huge horizontal lintel stones on top. This outer ring was constructed at the same time as the Great Pyramids of Egypt, around 2500 BC, but there was already activity at Stonehenge for several millennia before. The people who built Stonehenge lived in the Neolithic period of human history. 200 to 300 years later, an inner circle of blue stones was erected, which was later rearranged to form a horseshoe shape. That allowed visitors to enter what some see as a kind of altar. An earthenwork avenue or processional path stretched from this sacred space down to the River Avon. The people who built Stonehenge are often referred to as the Beaker People, who arrived from the European continent into the area. They had a big impact on Britain, and they get their name from their distinctive bell-shaped pottery. The grave of one of these people, dating to about 2300 BC, was discovered 3 miles from Stonehenge in 2002. Known as the Avebury archer, his grave contained many riches, including gold objects. The media dubbed him the King of Stonehenge. Stonehenge has long been both a physical space made of stone and a palace of the mind. For hundreds of years, people have invested meaning into this enigmatic structure. What does it mean? Why was it built? Who were its builders? Was it some kind of temple or necropolis aligned to the sun, welcoming the solstice? Was it even used by ancient astronomers to track the movement of the sun and moon and to mark the changing seasons? There have been many theories about Stonehenge. In the medieval period, it was believed that the wizard Merlin commanded a giant to build the structure for him, or that he magically transported it from Ireland. In this story, it was commissioned by a mythical king of the Britons, Aurelius Ambrosius, as a memorial to 460 British lords killed by the Saxons. What's fascinating about the medieval stories and depictions is that Stonehenge was clearly understood to be a very ancient structure dating back beyond recorded history. For many years, white-robed figures have congregated at Stonehenge to celebrate the summer solstice. These Druids believe they are invoking the ancient religion of those who built this remarkable site. Maybe they imagine great wicker man structures placed at the centre of the henge with the Druids of old chanting magical spells. Latter-day Druids still come to Stonehenge to celebrate the solstices and equinoxes, appearing in their robes and enacting a formal ceremony among the stones. They've been allowed to stay the night within the stones, performing their rituals and welcoming the return of the sun after the long winter. However, it's long been recognised that the Druids, a product of Celtic culture, came many centuries after the Neolithic people who constructed Stonehenge. The blame for associating Stonehenge with the Druids rests with two 17th and 18th century historians, John Aubrey and William Stukeley, while Edward Williams, who straddled the 18th and 19th centuries, invented the Druidic rituals. However, some have argued that Druid practices are rooted in much older European religions. Many of those who argue this are aligned with the New Age movement. Since the 1960s, the New Age movement adopted Stonehenge with free festivals on the site celebrating the summer solstice. In the 1960s and 1970s, it seemed that latter-day Druids and hippies had colonized Stonehenge. This was very much in line with the counterculture of the time. In the 1970s, the area was often covered in wood fires, tents, teepees, free food stalls, stages, bands, music, and magic. By 1977, Stonehenge was the largest regular free festival in Britain. Hippies, punks, bikers and jugglers mixed with Hare Krishna and Hell's Angels. But in the Thatcherite 1980s, this became unacceptable. With 50,000 people converging on the area in 1984, Conservative MPs and the tabloid press were demanding action. In 1985, with the police having spent a year on miners' picket lines, they were pumped for action against the New Age travellers at Stonehenge, who had no idea what was about to hit them. The Battle of the Beanfield saw police take on New Age travellers, thereby preventing another Stonehenge Free Festival. The action taken by police on June 1st, 1985 came under intense legal and media scrutiny, and several travellers were later compensated for injuries suffered and wrongful arrest. However, the glory days of Stonehenge Free Festivals were over. And then there's the aliens from outer space. Back in 1968, Erich von Däniken published his blockbuster book, Chariots of the Gods, in which he claimed that many ancient monuments were built by extraterrestrials, including Stonehenge. Others have developed von Däniken's theory, claiming Stonehenge is a kind of beacon by which space travellers home in on a landing site on Earth, and this was built thousands of years ago. Proof of this is offered in the claim that Stonehenge is still a UFO so-called hotspot. And of course, Stonehenge has been portrayed as a gateway, portal, wormhole, or stargate to another dimension, along with other similar structures around the planet, beaming signals to extraterrestrials. Could this be the reason that Stonehenge was built as an intergalactic lighthouse? But the most likely explanation is that Stonehenge was built by the Beaker People, who lived in dwellings like these, which have been recreated at the nearby visitor centre. These Neolithic people were the architects of Stonehenge, unaided by aliens, giants or wizards, though why they did it remains a mystery. Maybe, though, we should give them some credit for their ingenuity and hard work, even if we're not still entirely sure why they created the enduring magnificence of Stonehenge. The final word to me then on a rainy day at Stonehenge. Well, this is Stonehenge, an incredible monument, and I thoroughly recommend that you pay it a visit.